the sages explained that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send Mashiach before Shabbat. Not talking Shabbat, the day of the week, but Shabbat, the year. The Shabbat year starts at before 6,000. Because David HaMelech exposes one of the greatest secrets that we have on the timing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though he's not subject to time, which is that every 1,000 years that we have is like a day to him. So, if that's the case, and we are in the year 5779, 1,000 years is one day. So we are now 5,000 completed Thursday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We've completed 5,000 years, have completed 5 days. Then we have 779. If 750 is 3/4 of 1,000, right? 750 is 3/4 of 1,000. So that means that 3/4 of 24 hours have passed. 3/4 of 24 hours is 18th hour, 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Okay? So that's already 750. 5750. 5,750. But then we have some change, 79. I did some math one time, and it's approximately 41 years per hour. 41 years per hour. Which means that the 29 years extra above the 50, we're almost at 7 o'clock. We're almost at 7 o'clock. You follow?
Yeah.
We're almost at 7 p.m. Friday. We're almost at 7 p.m. Friday. Now, you follow? 6 p.m., 5 days were completed. 7:50 is already Friday. That's 6 p.m. Another 29, you're talking about somewhere around 6:45 p.m. 6:45 p.m. Friday. Now, sages said Mashiach's going to come before Shabbat. Before Shabbat doesn't mean 6,000. 6,000 is already deep into Shabbat. Before Shabbat means, when is the average Shabbat comes in? 7 o'clock, 7:30, 6:45, meaning in our lifetime. In our lifetime, Mashiach is coming. When that lifetime is, whether it's tomorrow or next year or 5 years or 20 years from now, I don't know, you don't know, nobody knows. And the Rambam says, do not delve into the timing for a few reasons. Number one, it's not going to increase your Yirat Shamayim. Number two, it's not going to increase your Ahavat Hashem. It's not going to help you fear Hashem, and it's not going to help you love Hashem. So why deal with it at all? Number three, it most likely will lead you to sin, not to do tshuva. Why? Because you're going to be so obsessed with the timing. When is he coming? Maybe it's this year, maybe it's that day, maybe it's because the moon is that way, maybe it's because the sky is that way, maybe it's because it didn't happen. You're going to start timing it and start pinpointing time. Pinpointing time is a sin. You're not allowed to pinpoint time when Mashiach's going to come. And that's the mistake that people make. They try to pinpoint time, and they don't realize that their objective to do good is actually sin. Why is it a sin? Because if you pinpoint time, and people follow you, and they say, oh, Yaron said it's going to be Thursday at 3:30 on the year 2027. And Thursday at 3:30, year 2027, according to the Christians, arrives, but Mashiach doesn't. He doesn't. Guess what? All of those people that followed are going to say, oh, so I guess he's not coming. I'm going to go back to being Mechal Shabbat. I'm going to go back to marrying the Goyim. I'm going to go back to eating pork. I'm going to go back to do whatever I want. Why? Because he promised it's going to come in this day. It's not coming now. It's probably not coming for another 20 years. So let me just live my life and I'll do tshuva another 20 years from now. You understand? You can lead people to fall. And that's why we're not allowed to do it. So you should not focus so much on the timing of Mashiach. You're obligated, according to the 13 principles of faith, to expect him every day. Meaning, you're obligated to expect the Mashiach every day, meaning that you have to do tshuva every day. You have to get ready to see Mashiach every day, because once the Mashiach comes, he will only save you if you have done tshuva. But if you were too busy focusing on learning when he's going to come, when did you have time to do tshuva? When did you have time to learn the rest of the Torah? if you're so focused on learning about Mashiach, when do you have time to learn halachot Shabbat? When do you have time to read this kid book that's going to change your life? When are you going to have time to come to the shul? You focus on Mashiach all day. That's the mistake people make. Why? Because the Satan wants you to focus on that. He wants you to focus on the timing, and therefore you're a 5-year, 10-year Baal Tshuva, you still don't know how to keep Shabbat. You're 5, 10-year Baal Tshuva, you're still not really sure. What do you do on Sukkot with the etrog? Do you eat it? Do you pray with it? What do you do with it? Why is it so expensive? What do I really have to? Can I just borrow my kid's etrog? Just buy one, use for 2 free? Like, what do you have? People don't know anything. Why? They're focused on things that in reality they shouldn't be focused on. Satan wants you to focus on that. So it's a mitzvah from the Satan. It's a mitzvah from the Satan. Satan tells you, focus on the timing, focus on this, focus on that. So that why? Because eventually what ends up happening, you get let down, because the Mashiach does not arrive at the timing that you wanted or expected or hoped for. And you could easily just let everything go. Why? You were never really fully committed because you never really fully did tshuva, because you never fully learned anything about Torah. The whole religion was based on just Mashiach coming. And now since he didn't come, the heck with it. And that's the mistake people make. People make the mistake of focusing on one thing. You're not allowed to focus on one thing. Even if it's a big mitzvah. You're not allowed to focus on one mitzvah. Focus on the entire Torah. You should be an expert in one mitzvah. You should be the best at one mitzvah. But you're supposed to learn the entire Torah. Supposed to learn the entire Torah. Pick one mitzvah, be an expert in it. Whether it's the mitzvah of Sukkot, or the mitzvah of Tefillin, or Tefillah, or whatever it is. Pick one and be an expert at it. But in general, you have to learn the entire Torah. If you focus all of your energy on timing of Mashiach, you're going to end up wasting your life, and it'll be very, very easy for the Satan to break you. So, some food for thought for all of the people that spend a lot of time on Mashiach and try to time it because of their math ability or their scientific ability or their rational, irrational mind and so on and so forth. All people need to understand. This generation is much, much lower in Kedusha and intellectual ability than the ones before it. Over 2,000 years ago, after the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, a generation that's much higher level of righteousness, Kedusha, and intellect, had an exact prophecy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will build a second Mikdash exactly 70 years after he destroyed the first one. Which means they didn't have like some random number we don't really know like now. It's already been 2,000 years and we still don't know when it's going to be. We have an understanding when it's possible, when's the deadline, but we don't have an exact number. They had an exact number. Only 70 years. They were much smarter, much holier, much closer to Mount Sinai than we were. And guess what? Not a single one of them got it right. Not a single one got it right. Not one got it right. Nobody got it right. Nobody. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu's timing is not for you to know. You may decide that the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed on a specific day in a specific year. That doesn't mean that Hashem decided that. If he wrote it, he decided it. If he didn't write it, that's because he doesn't want you to know it. And he left it up there for a reason. And he made sure that 7 years, no one's going to get. Same concept goes. If we couldn't figure out 70 years when we had a much higher level generation, what makes anybody think they can figure out 2,000 years plus? So don't waste your time trying to figure out the timing. Just focus on your obligation. Your obligation is to do tshuva. Your obligation is to fix your midot. Your obligation is to learn alachot. Your obligation is to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and stop looking for a shortcut. That's your obligation in the world. If you do that, you're going to be a winner in this life and the next. If you don't, nothing that can help. Nothing can be done to help you because you're already destroying yourself. You've decided to lose in your own hands.